Football here in New York is just stupendous. My New York Jets has a winning record. The New York Jets are 4-2. And the New York Jets going into this week, you should be very excited. You should be feeling the pump. We have a stud running back in Breece Hall. You have a good young wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. You have an offensive line glued up together. Elijah Vera Tucker, you can move him on any part of that line. Right guard, left tackle, right tackle. This man can play any position. So far, everything has worked for Robert Saleh. He's taking receipts, ladies and gentlemen. Or is he? Because he's going to be taking a lot more receipts for some of his players. Because Elijah Moore, 72 hours ago, was posting cryptic things on Twitter. First, saying that he loves his teammates. Then saying some interesting things about his playing time, his plays, and why doesn't he touch the ball, and he should be seeing more throws thrown his way, and he doesn't want to throw his team under the bus, and he doesn't want to be selfish, which he's been for the last 72 hours. And then, 48 hours ago, he reached out to the New York Jets and the organization and said he wants to be traded. A 23-year-old wide receiver who's been in the league for a year and a half. Last year, barely was healthy. Played 11 games. Had a decent season. A little bit over 500 yards. 5 touchdowns. Did decent for a first-year rookie wide receiver. The Jets draft Garrett Wilson. They bring in tight ends in Conklin and C.J. Osuma. Breece Hall has been the guy. But he's not even touching the ball a lot. He's touching the ball 15, 20 times a game. And he's getting over 100 yards. He's giving them a touchdown. Acrobatic. You don't hear Michael Carter crying about that. But Elijah Moore, the selfish player that he is, came out and is attacking the way this offense is playing. And if I was Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson's one of his good friends, when they were drafted in the same draft, they built chemistry. What are you going to say to Zach right now when you're telling the New York Jets to trade you because you didn't see the ball enough? Zach Wilson, since he's been back, is 3-0. Now, when Joe Flacco was the quarterback in the beginning of the season, he throws the ball more. He also throws more interceptions by doing that. Winning football games is all about efficiency. Zach threw 114 yards last week, but he won the game. Winning is the most important thing trying to make the playoffs. And young players forget that. Now, there's a lot of veterans right now in that locker room. Vinny Curry, who's coming back. He had a blood problem last year. He played very well in his first game against Green Bay. Carl Lawson, this defensive line, which started off very slow, has become beastly. Arguably one of the best defensive lines in the last 3 weeks in football. Everything is clicking for this team right now. You got 2 stud corners that are stopping everybody. The best of the best wide receivers. But no, Elijah Moore has nothing good to say about what he has seen on the field. And when he does, and he's so happy, he's all worried about himself and his selfish way of playing this game of football.
And it seemed like for a while he was dealing with some family matter, and if he is, sending condolences, prayers, whatever.
Absolutely.
But that still doesn't mean you should be tweeting. If you want to take some time off to go visit your family, then take the time off. Don't be tweeting all these random things about your teammates, about the team culture, about the coaches. That makes you look bad. Saying it out loud makes you look bad when the Jets are 4-2 on a 3-game winning streak. You have a rookie running back that's playing very well.
Lights out.
Very efficient. This was his first game he got 20 carries, and the previous ones he still had 100 yards. That is the mark of hyper efficiency. Your target share, if you're going to complain about that, this was the first time you had none in that game, which is a game planning thing. The Jets game planned well against the Packers' weaknesses and won the game by double digits because of that. Before that, you had a game of 9 targets against the Bengals. You had a game of 7 targets. Yeah, you want to say Garrett Wilson got more. Yeah, he had a couple double-digit ones early in the season. Garrett Wilson hasn't gotten great target share either recently. 6, 4, and 5 the last 3 games. And you don't hear him complaining. You're winning right now, so clearly what they're doing is working. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to leave Mike LaFleur off the hook either, because Mike LaFleur, I think, has misused Elijah Moore. He's better in the slot. A lot of his big games in the second half of the season when he came back from injury, playing mostly out of the slot. Not that he's not capable of outside. I would say Mike LaFleur has to make some adjustments with that. I don't think he will get traded. I think they're just going to need to ease him back into the game plan, get him targeted, not massively, like a 6-target game, and see how he plays. You have to get open yourself. You have to earn it yourself, though, Elijah Moore. A little more than you've done this season, only 203 yards.
Christian McCaffrey is going to be playing for the San Francisco 49ers as they trade away their whole life savings this year's draft. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as they gave up their number 1 for their star young quarterback in Trey Lance out for the regular regular season. I don't know what this team's going to be in the next 3 years when it comes to young players. Go ask the Rams how they feel about that. They did win a Super Bowl, so maybe this will bring them a Super Bowl, because if it doesn't, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan will be looking for a job at the end of this season. They need to win the Super Bowl this year, especially what they have given up. Adding Christian McCaffrey to this offense, you have Diva Samuel, Mitchell coming back. This team could be so fun to watch offensively, and we don't know when this offensive line is going to be whole again, because losing Williams for a significant amount of time, this guy has been the best left tackle in football for the last 3 years. Even when he was on Washington let him go. He had concussion problems.
He also had that misdiagnosed cancer treatment with their medical staff, which makes the Commanders look really bad.
When Williams comes back, that offensive line could be as good as it was before he was hurt. This hasn't been the same offensive line since he's been gone. You add him and you add a running game this prolific, forget it. Yes, I believe they can win. And with Jimmy Garoppolo, they had no chance with Trey Lance. They have a chance right now. Jimmy's done it before. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to an NFC title game. This is a guy that knows how to find a way to win. He's not efficient in the playoffs. He's not Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers. He's not any of those guys. And by the way, those guys haven't been in the Super Bowl for the past year. And they're in a division right now with Matthew Stafford and the Rams that are just really not the same team they were in the Super Bowl last year. So yeah, I think San Francisco can make a run. The question is, how much does this help this offense?
There's two things that'll definitely help Christian McCaffrey individually. One is being in that kind of offense, he's not going to have that same level of a workload that could wear him out with injuries, because he's had injury problems the last 2 years. And Kyle Shanahan's going to be able to use him creatively. This is a heavy motion offense. This is great with yards after the catch. And Christian McCaffrey, as a receiving back, is the best in the league because of that. He's very good at creating separation and routes after the catch. Also, I think it'll end up helping versatility. You already have somebody in Deebo Samuel who's very versatile as a wide receiver. Now you have a running back that's also very versatile. And Elijah Mitchell could still be on the field at the same time, too. He's a good runner. Kittle that's versatile. Kyle Juszczyk's very versatile. Creative offense now. And Christian McCaffrey was kind of a piece they didn't really have of anyone else in that mold. Now, you're right about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been off at times in the fourth quarter of playoff games, but they don't need him to be those types of quarterbacks to be able to do that with this types of weapons. They just have to make the right decisions and get these guys open in motion. I agree with you. It was a lot to give up. I expected maybe a 2 and maybe a 5, but maybe thought the Rams or the Bills, one of those teams was going to be aggressive. I don't know what draft picks the Rams have to do that, but there was reports that they were interested. Nevertheless, we've seen John Lynch get over aggressive at times too, but if this one doesn't work out, definitely could be costly for him, because we've seen him make some big swings both with contracts and trades.
We're going to go into our 3-for-all picks of the week.
And guess who is making their first appearance in the 3-for-all picks of the week? Despite no Elijah Moore, the New York Jets against the Denver Broncos. The over-under for this game, 38. I'm going to take the Jets even if Russell Wilson did play. I still do not trust a lot of things with this offense. Outside of Sutton, the rest of the wide receivers have been kind of underwhelming this year. Nathaniel Hackett, offensive play style is just atrocious. And guess who's starting at running back? Mr. Fumble himself, Melvin Gordon. The Jets' front seven has been very good against the run this year, much improved from where they were last year. Offensively, I think they'll still be able to run the ball well. Broncos have had trouble against the run despite having a great pass defense. So I'm going to take the Jets in this game, even without Elijah Moore, on the under.
Melvin Gordon was the same Melvin Gordon that Nathaniel Hackett decided to take out against his former team. That shows you how much he trusts Melvin Gordon. I don't think Melvin Gordon's going to touch the ball that much in this game. It's going to be all throwing. Ripken, Quentin Williams is going to be lurking behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I got the Jets in this game. I think they're going to be able to score. You might see Denzel Mims in this game. I think the Jets are going to use him in the open field with his size, his ability. I expect him to turn up a decent game and prove to people why the Jets are making a mistake not playing him. This will be a game for Garrett Wilson. I think the Jets will use him in the open field. Even though the secondary is one of the best secondaries in football, I believe the Jets will be able to get the ball to him in the slot. So give me the Jets on the under.
All right, let's debut another new team, the Atlanta Falcons against the Cincinnati Bengals. The over-under for this one is 47.5. I think this game will be a lot closer than people expect. I'm going to take the Bengals at home. A lot of field goals. Both these red zone offenses had a lot of trouble. Kyle Pitts will be well contained. I think Drake London is a nice game. No Cordero Patterson. I think it'll hurt against a Bengals team that struggled against the run the last couple of weeks. I think Jamar Chase gets contained, but I think it's another like the Jets. I think you'll see a Tyler Boyd game. So I think the Bengals win it close. I'll take them on the under.
Yeah, I got the Bengals in this game. I can't see Joe Burrows going into a game against this Atlanta Falcon team, which has played very well. They're growing. The coach is figuring out what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. They have to try to include Kyle Pitts. It's horrendous when you have a talented player like this, and he's not seeing the ball. I believed he was the best tight end going into the season. He's not even the 7th best tight end right now in football. Maybe he has a good game. I don't know if he will against his defense. Yeah, I got the Bengals. Bengals in this game. I'm going to take them on the under too.
Speaking of Christian McCaffrey, his San Francisco 49ers hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, the over-under 49. I'm going to take the 49ers in the upset here. I was actually going to take them even regardless of Christian McCaffrey. I actually think they match up well against this Chiefs team. The Chiefs have been very good defensively this year. The one thing they've had an issue with has been the yards after the catch. You saw Buffalo definitely expose that last week. Even the Raiders exposed that. I think the Niners really get that going. Their pass rush against a Chiefs offensive line that's very good. I think it'll be a tougher matchup for them, and I think they could stop the run. Niners win this. Both tight ends get well contained in this one despite being superstars. I'm going to take them on the under.
I don't know if this is going to be on the under because Kansas City is going to have to score with this defense. So I think it's going to be a fun game. I like San Francisco in this game. San Francisco on the over. High scoring, but also it's going to come down to defense at the end of the game, and I think San Francisco has the better defense. Nick Bosa will play in this game. I think he'll cause havoc in the fourth quarter and cause a fumbleina to your Patrick Mahomes. I think it's going to be fun this weekend. Could be a lot of surprises. Maybe the Jets do lose this game against the Broncos. It would be a complete bad loss for the Jets because they're playing such good football right now. And Russell Wilson isn't healthy.